You ever wonder how people be living in a luxurious life, living in nice houses and driving nice cars and having supermodel bitches as their girls? Well, those motherfuckers over there be telling me to do two things: real estate and insurance. The truth is that, yes, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. But today, we're not going to be doing any of that. We're going to be talking about something unconventional because people have been sleeping on this industry for a decade and a year over now. Because people don't believe it. But you should believe in me, for I am Mr. Macaroon, your personal Pokemon trading consultant. So you can look as sleek as me while carrying a briefcase full of cash. Oh shit. These are like my grandfather's stash. So, as your PPTC, I'm gonna give you some legitimate advice on how you can invest in Pokemon cards so that you can make the moolah rain on you like a motherfucker. Let's get to it. Alright, so now we're back in my Pokemon arsenal right here. As you can tell, there are thousands and thousands of dollars right here.
Billions and billions!
And you see the Yeezys right here? Yeah. You know how I got them? My mom bought them for me. So, fuck. But enough with the flexing right now. I'm about to give you 5 tips on how you can actually turn them motherfuckers right here into this moolah, baby. So, the first thing you gotta do when you want to actually do that, I mean, we're talking about being a fresh investor in the Pokemon yourself, is that you gotta have a lot of cash, mate. You gotta have a lot of cash. Cash makes the money go round. And I ain't shitting on you. What we're gonna actually be needing to see right here is that I have actually loaded a bunch of cash into these inventories. They don't just come from thin air, unless you manage to scavenge them out of the sewers or something. What we'll be looking at right here is me loading a bunch of cash right here. This is, in fact, thousands of bucks. We're not talking about in the 5 figures or whatnot. We're talking about a couple, all right, just a couple of thousands. I may have been a little bit addicted to this shit. But either way, what I'm trying to tell you right here is that if you don't have the spare cash to actually be investing and putting your money to grow, then essentially it's nothing, okay? We're talking about spare cash. We're not talking about cash that you gotta feed your wife, you gotta feed your kids, you gotta feed your loan and whatnot. What we're talking about is spare cash. And that is my sister in the toilet. Okay, so the rule number 1 that y'all need to understand is that you gotta have the juice to bring in the boost. Because if you're gonna got extra cash sitting over there not doing nothing, you won't be able to do this because these are just dead stocks, okay? They're just gonna be there collecting dust until it actually brings in some kind of profit. So y'all's gotta know what you're doing. Rule number 2, after you get a bunch of cash, you wanna actually know the fuck you're actually buying, okay? So as you can tell over here in my vault, I got most of them Charizard thing all ongoing over here, and this one is this is a special stuff. Okay, I'm gonna be breaking them down into several videos on how we can actually do this. But in general, you don't want to simply buy some of that new stuff because Pokemon will be coming up with new things over and over again. But essentially, most of it are actually trash. Right? So what we're looking at right here are special sets. Okay, and when they come out, I actually go through them card list, seeing what's in the set list, and you know it's valuable when the Charizard's in there. If it's not talking about Charizard, we're talking about Vault, you know, like a bunch of special cards like the Hidden Fates. So rule number 2 is that y'all need to know what you're actually buying, okay? There are tons of stocks out there. If you're getting into anything blindly, you're just gambling.
To tell you the probability of hitting 4 again, very unlikely. But if we do, you guys are gonna double that, and it's gonna pay out big. And plus, it's for baby Alex! Alex! Alex!
Alright, the same shit that happens in Pokemon is that you don't just buy any set. You're gonna be looking at the card list and what's in the set, and those that actually have that high potential to actually flip over. And what we're talking about essentially is like the Charizard right here. That's like a no-brainer, okay? For the Pokemon community, this is like, the fuck you talking about, Matt? Everybody knows this. Well, I'm doing this for the general viewers. There are a lot of things aside from Charizard that we can actually look at to actually know that that is a good set, alright? Now, take an example for this Vivid Voltage box that I bought for 450 ringgits, okay? That is just retail price, and right now it's been sold out everywhere.
You know, you'd think I would learn my lesson each time I come into the bathroom to check the
Pokemon
supplies. Yesterday it was the toothpaste, the day before it was the soap, and now today I'm taking a shit. I go to wipe my ass, and there's no fucking
Pokemon cards.
There might be a risk for a reprint coming soon, but I'm just selling this real fast because they got loads of cards in there that are actually valuable. So you don't buy things, all right, new set that actually have nothing, because essentially it'll just be a waste of money. You know what I mean? What you really want to do is actually look at some of the really good stuff in there. Go online. The Google is free. All right, this is a lot easier than it actually is doing your stock thingy. So that is my advice for actually buying new things. We actually have what we call old things as well, so sort of like vintage cards. I'm not talking about buying some old seal products, because if you don't have the cash, those are going for a big stack. Okay, we're talking about things that you can actually purchase off when people are selling their old collections and whatnot. However, and Pokemon is currently at its all-time high at the moment. What we're going to be looking at is some biddings that people are putting up online, all right? And I'm going to give you a very solid example. Right here is, with me, is a Aerodactyl. Look at this motherfucker right here. Yeah. Okay, so I actually purchased one of these for 20 ringgits. All right, 20 ringgits, because it wasn't really a thing back then. And to tell you the truth, it wasn't even that long ago. I would say sort of like the start of the year. Shit, taking a video is so much harder than I thought. Okay, I waited for 15 minutes for the dust to settle. Okay, so right now I'm back. When I'll be talking about my Aerodactyl right here, I bought this sort of like the start of the year for 20 bucks, and right now it's flying over the roof for over at least 100 ringgits or more. I haven't checked the latest price, but I'm assuming that it's going for a bigger stack. So what you're gonna essentially want to be looking is for something like this that kind of holds some value, because firstly, it's a first edition, it's hollow, it's got a pre-release thingy going on, and 20 bucks isn't really gonna do much harm to me. So remember, know what you gotta buy, because there are good sets and there are bad sets, and there are a lot of gold mines in the bidding section where people are just trying to actually get a little bit of cash flow. They're getting it cheaper out, and you just need to capitalize on that. Rule number 3 is that you don't rush into buying them new products that are being overhyped and overpriced. You know what I mean? I mean, when it's overhyped, you want to buy those things because you know that in the card list is actually a good shit. But when we're looking at the Champions Pile thing, this is what I've learned over time. Just that I bought one of these boxes for 400 bucks, which subsequently went down to 299. I fucked up. So essentially, what we want to be doing is that when these things go way overpriced, we want to wait for the dust to settle. Okay, trust me, it is a good set, but it's not essentially worth 400 bucks, because eventually when we're looking at an investment standpoint of view, you wouldn't be able to make that high of a margin as compared to what I have spent for this Hidden Fates box for 250 ringgits, which subsequently now added another 1 in front. Alright, we're talking about 1299 at the moment. That was last sold in one of our local stores. So essentially, don't be too rushed, because I got this at 299 and this for 400 bucks. There is a big influx of what you call shit. Yeah, you know what I mean. The point is, you want to actually be hoping that you're getting into a retail price like this one for 450 bucks, and sometimes you can even get them for cheap, because sometimes stores still need to actually have a good cash flow for themselves. So as much as they understand that Pokemon is going to rise in value, they need cash flow. That's a fact. Just understand that there will be a point where the price goes down a little bit. Alright, so the 4th thing you need to do is that you need to do some legit check-in. Alright, so I know y'all's Pokemon experts out there be telling me that you know, you have an eye for actually looking at these cards and what are their conditions and whatnot. But sometimes, you know, when you're just rushing into getting some good stuff, you tend to overlook at their conditions and you ended up with some shit. So you want to do some legit check-in, and of course there are rookie mistakes where you can actually buy fake things without actually knowing that, because the fakes out there are getting incredibly real. Now the 5th and final tip that you actually want to be focusing on is to actually negotiate in good faith, and this is a tip for all buyers and sellers themselves. Okay, so when we're talking about the buying aspect, we're talking about negotiating under good faith, whereby we don't just lowball on people, man. That just gives you bad rap. Okay, you want to be and sort of like a collector that people or collector trader, whatever, that people actually trust. So negotiating good faith, don't be an ass. All right, but buying is easy. The selling part, all right, we also want to look at the standpoint of view where we are actually looking at this thing as they are dead. Okay, so you don't want to be like me, because I'm part collector myself. I love some of these things. I wouldn't let go even if they go for like way over the roof. I'm just kidding. Okay, so essentially you want to treat these like stocks, like they're actual objects. You don't want to treat them like they are something precious. You don't treat them like a wife. You know what I'm saying? So this is my take, that I have all these sealed products over here, alright, and they are dead to me, except for this baby right here. But the rest are dead to me. They are once it hits a certain potential value in the market, I'm gonna be selling them. All right, there's no second thought about it. Okay, so just distinguish it before that, before Pokemon actually consumes you, because you know they will, my precious. So Pokemon is it's something that gets people into the hobby, because look at them, beautiful packaging. You got beautiful cards in there and collection and whatnot, and eventually you may or may not get into it. All right, what I mean is, like, you get consumed into it and you get a whole lot of money all bundled up into it, and you can do nothing about it because you are trapped in your own addiction. So do not treat them like a heavy collection if you are talking about just heavily investing. Okay, understand that there is a certain profit that you want to make. Don't get too greedy, all right, because you'll just be stuck with nothing essentially. It's not cash until it turns cash. So easier said than done. That is all my tips. All right, so this is me, Matt, your PPTC, your professional Pokemon trading consultant. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say this works for everyone, all right? Most of the time people don't actually get to flip for shit. All right, what I'm saying is that if we're talking about how you want to strategically do this anyhow, this is probably the most basic tips. So stay tuned if I ever make any more videos, because this is tiring, man.